everyone, thank you. Thank you so much for coming to Intro to Yoga. I'm Tracy, welcome back. It's nice to see you again. Although that sounds creepy, I can't see you, rest assured I can't see you. I'm here with Jango, here to teach your yoga class today. If you're just joining for the first time, the most important thing to focus on is your breathing. It's about the journey in and out of the yoga pose and enjoying and honoring where you are. I'm just here to make suggestions about postures and positions to do. If you don't like them, you don't have to do them. And you might notice I have some limitations in my body, and you should just be aware of anything that doesn't feel quite right in your body. Every day is a little bit different, so we have to be gentle with ourselves. So let's get started. So just making yourself nice and comfy on your yoga mat. Finding a nice comfortable position, and perhaps closing the eyes. We're going to start with 3 breaths. So inhaling the arms up, taking a deep breath in, and exhale, sigh it all out. You're letting your day go. You've landed on your yoga mat. Inhale the arms up, reaching for the sky. And exhale, sigh it all out. And one more time, inhaling the arms up. And exhale, sigh it all out. And just taking a moment to settle in, perhaps keeping the eyes closed, focusing on your breath. Because it's hard for us to slow down our busy minds and stop thinking about our to-do lists, I like to set an intention for the practice. So I invite you to do the same. And because the world is so busy right now and there's so much going on, there's so much stress all around the world, and it's there all the time. You might be feeling stressed and anxious about it, and you're not alone. We're all feeling it. And that's why it's important that we be gentle with ourselves. Gentle with ourselves in life and in our yoga practice. Gentle with ourselves and gentle with the world around us. And what have we learned from going through all this? Well, we've learned it's okay to slow down. It's okay to slow down. We've been in a rat race for a long time. And we've learned that it's okay to actually slow down. So instead of seeing everything as negative, I invite you to shift your perspective a little bit and see the positive changes that we can make in our lives and the world around us. As we change our thoughts and perspective, it changes our attitude towards what's going on. And while we can't control everything that's going on, we can control our reaction. So perhaps focusing on what you've learned over the past couple of years, how you've changed, and thanking yourself for how much you've adapted. It was hard for all of us because there wasn't a manual, but we've all managed to get through. So stop and thank yourself. And when you're ready, slowly opening the eyes. We're going to start with a few shoulder rolls to just start warming up. Feeling the stress release from the shoulders. You can often carry a lot of tension. Coming back to center, we're going to do a few little neck stretches to just warm up very gently. turning the head to the right. I'm going to peek at the dog and see what he's doing. I think he's behaving. And coming back to center, turning the head to the left. And coming back to center, looking down towards the ground, feeling a nice stretch in the back of the neck. Coming back to center and looking up towards the sky. And coming back to center. We're going to take a little side bend here. So inhaling the arms up, we're going to let the right hand come down to the ground. And taking a little side bend while trying to keep the chest open towards the sky and keeping your sit bones connected to the yoga mat. And of course, we're still breathing. And then switching sides, placing the left hand down on the mat and extending the opposite hand up towards the sky. Once again, trying to keep the chest open towards the sky, only shining that heart. And coming back to center. Let's do a little twist here. So inhaling the arms up and exhale, letting the hands fall to the right, just wherever they fall. Taking a gentle twist, trying to still shine the heart towards the sky. So it might mean that you can't twist quite as far. Jango's taking a nice nap. For now. And inhaling the arms up. And exhale, letting the hands fall to the opposite side. And on the next exhale, coming back to center, we're going to inhale the arms up again. Once more, taking a deep breath in and exhale, letting the hands fall just to about shoulder height. Fingers are pointed up towards the ceiling as much as possible, as much as it feels good. This is a nice little stretch for the fingers. And when you're ready, just gently releasing. Let's do a few little wrist stretches. And going the other way. These are good things to do at your desk if you have a moment. Just to keep that circulation and blood flow going. And when you're ready, gently releasing. We're going to make our way onto our hands and our knees, coming into our cat-cow, our table pose. So trying to make sure the knees are underneath the hips and the wrists are underneath the shoulders. And we want to make sure that our fingers are spread nice and wide, always keeping the fingers nice and active. I'm covered in dog hair. I don't know how this happened. There's paw prints all over my yoga mat and I'm covered in dog hair. So we're going to let the breath guide our movement here. So on the next exhale, we're going to round the spine, tuck the tailbone, coming into our cat pose. And on the next exhale, or inhale, sorry, letting the tailbone return to neutral and then arching the spine, looking off into the distance. And we're going to flow back and forth through that movement, so just follow your breath. Slowly warming up the spine. Stretching like a cat. It should feel good. returning the spine back to neutral. We're going to extend the knees out to the width of the yoga mat and put the big toes together so they're touching, and pressing back towards your heels, extending the arms out long, coming into our extended child's pose. So from here, we're going to gently walk the hands over to the right side of the yoga mat, feeling a nice stretch along the side of the body. And you should still be able to take full deep breaths here. So if you're struggling with that, then walk the hands in a little bit. Letting the breath guide the movement. Honoring where you are today. And being gentle with yourself and the world around you. And let's walk our hands back through center and then over to the left side of the yoga mat. Walking the hands back to center, making sure the fingers are spread nice and wide. We're going to bring the knees back together here. We're starting to set up for our first downward facing dog. So starting to tuck the toes and then slowly lifting the hips up towards the sky, coming into our first downward facing dog. Making sure the fingers are spread nice and wide, possibly rotating the upper shoulder blades out just to help take stress out of the wrists. And perhaps pedaling out the feet just to help get a stretch in the legs. Don't worry if your heels don't touch the ground when you're in downward facing dog. This will become a resting pose for you. So when you're feeling ready, look towards the hands, and we're going to slowly step towards the top of the yoga mat, coming into our forward fold. Bending the knees as generously as you need to here. And inhale, halfway lift. Let's do airplane arms as we take this pose, just to make sure our shoulders are down and away from the ears. And exhale, folding back down. And inhaling all the way up. Hands through heart center, coming into our mountain pose. So again, mountain pose, feet are shoulder width distance, or hip width distance, sorry. Navel into the spine, shoulders down and away from the ears. Feeling very strong and rooted in this pose. Taking a second to just connect with the breath. Before we inhale the arms up and exhale. So from here, we're going to step the right foot back, and we're going to turn the toes so that they're facing the long edge of the yoga mat. So our feet are perpendicular to one another. And we're going to come into warrior two. So just making sure you feel nice and strong here. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can certainly walk the leg in a little further and straighten the leg as much as you need to. And from here, we're going to extend the arms up to about shoulder height, if that feels comfortable. If it doesn't, hands on the hips is certainly okay. So we should feel very strong in this pose. And we're going to look off into the distance over our front hand, just looking off over those first three, those middle fingers. Feeling very strong in this pose. And from here, we're going to let the back arm drop towards the back of the leg. And we're going to extend the opposite hand up towards the sky, coming into our reverse warrior pose. Trying to keep the chest open towards the sky. Don't worry about how far you're going. If you're here and your leg is straighter, that's perfectly okay. Remember, it's the journey in and out of the pose. Focusing on the breath, being gentle with yourself. And when you're ready, inhaling back up to Warrior Two. Just checking in with your alignment here. And we're going to place that left ankle down on the left knee and extend the opposite hand up towards the sky for our extended side angle. So you might want to place the left hand down on the ground, perhaps on the shin, or leave the elbow resting on the knee. Go in wherever you feel comfortable, where you can still breathe, of course. And from here, we're going to inhale back up to Warrior Two. And we're going to flow through that Warrior series a couple of times and just follow your breath. So coming into Reverse Warrior. Inhaling back up. And exhale, coming into extended side angle. Inhaling up. And exhale, coming into Reverse Warrior. And inhaling back up. And exhale, coming into extended side angle. And inhaling all the way back up. We're going to turn the toes so that they're facing the front of the yoga mat and bring the hands into heart center. So our toes are now pointing both towards the front. Knees are not locked here, they're nice and soft. We're going to inhale the arms up and exhale, fold all the way down to your yoga mat. Landing wherever you are. Feeling a nice stretch. Crown of the head is towards the floor if possible. Your hands may be right down on the mat, mine are not, it's okay. If you have blocks, you can always use those as well. And we're going to inhale all the way back up. Hands through heart center. Let's turn the toes out now. So they're pointed out, and we're going to take a bend in the knees here. Setting up for our goddess pose. So for goddess pose, we come into cactus arms. So don't worry if your elbows are more towards the ground. Find what feels nice in your body. You should feel very strong in this pose. And of course, you should still be breathing. So if that means your legs are not quite so bent, that's okay. Go where it feels good for you. Being mindful of the breath and being mindful of your movement. We're going to slowly start to straighten the legs, bringing the hands into heart center. And we're going to turn the right toe out towards the edge of the yoga mat. And once again, line up the feet so that they're perpendicular to one another. So just have a look. And your legs can be, you don't have to have such a wide stance for this. Go to where it feels good for you, and you don't have to have your knee quite so bent. So checking in with the feet, and then we're going to extend the hands up. If that feels good, remember you can always bring the hands to the hips if that feels better. I'm going to just check my back arm because sometimes it has a tendency to work its way down. So let's flip the palms up And then flip the palms down. That just helps keeps the shoulders down and away from the ears if you have a tendency to have them creep up like I do. And we're going to flow through that warrior series once again. So letting the left hand come down to the leg and extending the right arm up towards the sky. Trying to shine the heart open towards the sky. So making sure we're not collapsing in. We want to be nice and tall here. Heart's always shining towards the sky. And inhaling back up to warrior two. And then placing that right ankle, right elbow on the right knee and extending the left arm up towards the sky. And again, you can have your right hand down on the ground, the shin. I'm going to leave my elbow on my thigh here. Letting the breath guide the movement. And then inhale, coming back up. And once again, flowing into that reverse warrior. Inhale up, coming into warrior two, looking off into the distance over those middle fingers. And letting the elbow come back down, or the hand, shining the heart towards the sky. Inhaling back up, and exhale, coming into reverse warrior. Inhaling back up. And exhale, letting the elbow come to the thigh, hand to the ground, wherever it's comfortable. And inhale, back up into our warrior two, looking off into the distance, feeling nice and strong in this pose. And then bringing the hands down to the hips, turning the toes towards the front of the yoga mat once again. Just checking in with the feet, and maybe you don't want to have your legs quite so wide, so just go wherever it feels comfortable for you. Inhaling the arms up, taking a deep breath in, and exhale, forward fold. And when you're ready, inhaling the arms up and exhale, hands through heart center, turning the toes out again, taking a gentle bend in the knees, wherever it feels comfortable and good in your body. We're going to inhale the arms up and exhale, setting up for those cactus arms, coming into our goddess pose. Feeling very strong and rooted in this pose. And when you're ready, releasing the hands, we're going to tick-tock the feet back towards the center. And we're going to make our way down to a seated pose. So just in your own time, however it feels good in your body. Making your way down to the yoga mat, perhaps crossing the legs. So from here, we're going to inhale the arms up and exhale, letting the hands come down towards the yoga mat, the floor. All I see are dirty paw prints on this yoga mat. that's from. So don't worry if you're not completely folded down here. If you're more up, that's okay. Go to where it feels good for you. Slowly walking the hands in. We're going to switch the feet. And then inhaling the arms up. And exhale, letting the hands come back down again. Getting a nice stretch on the opposite side. Walking the hands back in, coming back up. I'm going to turn it this way so you can see just a little bit better. We're going to come into our boat pose, which is great for working on the core. So keeping both feet flat on the floor, knees are bent. Just shine the heart up towards the sky and keeping the shoulders down and away from the ears. We're going to lift one leg and then follow it by the other. And you can still be holding on to the back of the feet here, or the feet, the back of the legs here. Good grief. And if you feel like you want to let go of the legs and get your core going here, you can do that. Trying to keep the feet parallel to the floor and still trying to keep the heart shining towards the sky. And if you are feeling nothing here because your core is really strong, you can always straighten out the legs as well. I'm going to leave mine here. And once again, feel free to grab onto the back of the legs if you're feeling challenged. And of course, you should still be breathing in this pose. Let's release the feet, give ourselves a little break. When our core is strong, we feel ready to take on the day. We feel we have courage, strength. It helps light that fire within you. So that's why it's good to do these things. I know sometimes people curse at me when we do these core poses, but let's carry on with it because it does help us. So you can be as gentle with your body as you need to. You can take a hold of the back of the legs just to, as you're starting to build strength. That's okay. And if you feel like you want to let go of the hands, Jango's sleeping right through this pose. He's demonstrating resting pose, which we will get to shortly. And when you're ready, gently releasing the feet, extending the legs out long. We're going to make our way down to our backs, just slowly in your own time. So from here, we're going to bring the right knee into the chest, keeping both feet flexed. The left leg is extended out long. And when you're ready, gently releasing the leg, switching the legs here. So bringing the left leg into the chest, extending the right leg out long. Both feet are flexed. This pose is called wind relieving pose, so whatever happens, happens here. It could get kind of breezy. Always accepting ourselves and being gentle with ourselves. And then extending that leg back out long. We're going to bend both knees, letting both feet come to the yoga mat. And just letting the knees fall to the right side and the left side. Just windshield wipering the legs, getting a nice stretch here. Letting your breath guide your movement. And coming back to center, placing both feet on the mat. Knees are bent. And then letting the knees fall open to either side, coming into our butterfly pose. We can have our hands at our sides here and let our palms shine up towards the sky. And don't worry if your knees are not touching the ground. Mine certainly aren't. Enjoy where you are with this pose. Enjoy the journey in and out of the pose. Focusing on your breath. So Jango's been doing resting pose for the whole class, which is A-okay. You can always do that. It's your practice. Give yourself permission to do what you need to do. If it's okay for Jango, it's probably okay for you too. So just be gentle with yourself. And when you feel ready, bringing the knees back together, extending the legs out long. We're going to walk the feet over to the right side of the yoga mat. And we're going to start to walk the shoulders over to the right side of the yoga mat, coming into banana pose. So it's banana pose because the shape of your body kind of resembles a banana. So if you're not getting anything out of this, you can certainly cross the left ankle over the right ankle. And you can certainly make yourself comfortable by placing the hands underneath the head. Go to where it feels comfortable and good in your body. And you should still be able to take full deep breaths, so it might mean working your way out of that pose just a little bit, and that's okay. And uncrossing the feet if you have them crossed, and walking the feet and the shoulders back so that we're back in full alignment. And then we're going to start to slowly walk the feet over to the left side of the mat. And starting to walk the shoulders over to the right side of the mat, coming into banana pose on the opposite side. And once again, maybe placing the hands underneath the head if that feels good for you. Crossing the right ankle over the left if that helps intensify it for you. crossing the feet, walking the legs back to the center of the mat, walking the shoulders back towards the center of the mat. From here, we're going to bring the knees into the chest. And we're going to do a bit of a rock and roll here to just give ourselves a bit of a back massage before Shavasana. So this should feel nice on your back. Sometimes we need that little back massage. And coming back to center. From here, we're going to extend the legs out long. Extending the hands out to the side, shining the palms up towards the sky, coming into our final resting pose. Focusing in on that breath once again. Closing the eyes and maybe putting a towel or a sock over the eyes just to help block out any light if that helps you relax more. So I'm going to take you on a bit of a guided journey today. So closing the eyes, coming into your breath. And in the mind's eye, picturing yourself walking out the door. And as you open the door and step outside, you're at a beautiful beach. It's beautiful, it's sunny, it's warm. And you start to walk down towards the beach. And you sit in the sand, feeling the sand beneath your toes. And you start to feel more and more relaxed with each breath. The sun is shining, gently warming your skin. The clouds are gently floating by. The birds are flying off in the distance. And the sea salt air has a nice aroma that feels very soothing to you. And you feel very peaceful and relaxed. With each breath, all of your cares melt away. And you feel very happy and content in this moment. The waves of the ocean are very soothing to you. And they help you to feel more relaxed. And the sun is starting to change position in the sky. And you realize it's time to head back. But you know you can always return to this peaceful moment at any time. You have that power within you. And you slowly return to where you came from. waving goodbye to the ocean waves as you close the door. And you slowly start to become aware of the yoga mat beneath you. Bringing your awareness back to the room that you're in. Slowly starting to wiggle fingers and toes. Bringing slow movement back to the body if you need to. And rolling over to your right side when you feel ready. And making your way up to a seated position. You feel very refreshed and rejuvenated and ready to carry on with the rest of your day. You're wide awake and ready to carry on with the rest of your day and deal with anything that comes your way. And let's take one breath together to close our practice today. Inhaling the arms up and exhale, hands through heart center. The light in me honors the light in all of you and every soul. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining the practice this week. We'll see you again next week. Bye. You still there, Jango? You passed out?